23-time Grand Slam tennis champion Serena Williams and civil rights pioneer Ruby Bridges will be inducted into the 2024 National Women's Hall of Fame. What are your thoughts on this amazing moment? Al, let's go to you first.
You know, we all know who Serena Williams is, but a lot of us don't know who Ruby Bridges is. And just for those who don't know, if the production can put the picture back, she's 69 years old. She was the first Black child to segregate schools in Louisiana. She's very iconic and historical because at that time, you had to take a test in order to go to school with the majority in the white schools. And of the 165 Black kids that were tested, only 5 passed, and she was one of the ones that had to go to a school in her district that was all white. So she didn't have friends to go with her to school like the other 4 who passed. 3 of them went to a school together. So we all know the iconic picture of her being escorted by federal marshals because the hate was so real. But did you guys know that the marshals had to check her food every day because people were trying to poison her? Did you also know that the father lost his job because the mother decided to send her to school? Not only that, the grandfather and the grandmother, who were sharecroppers, lost their sharecropping business and pushed off their land because their granddaughter decided to segregate schools. This woman and this little girl probably didn't even know how big and iconic of a person she was being, but you know who did? Was her mother, Lucille. Everyone told Lucille in that town, do not do this to your daughter. Do not do this to your family. Lucille stood up for herself, her family, and for the country and said, no, my daughter must go. I must use her to teach the country a lesson. Now, Lucille lost her husband because we found out later that Ruby's dad left her mother because of this. But look at the end result. Schools are now segregated. Black people are able to access education at an equal amount. And I find this story not only heartwarming, but the type of story that I want to read and know about as I enter into 2024.
Happy ending for us. Tragic ending for the family that had to suffer so much for equal rights in a country that prides itself to be the land of the free, the home of the brave. All men are created equal. All this BS that they talk about. This woman had to live it for us. 69 years old is not that old.
Not at all.
Hugh, what do you think about this? And what do you think about both of them?
You know, when you layer on that you guys are 50, in your 50s, I'm 40, which neither one of us are that far away from our age. It makes you realize that this was not that long ago. And people love trying to pretend like, oh, that was way back when. Baby, she looked like she could be Shaka Khan.
Yeah.
Like, mama looks good. If my mother was alive right now, this would be one of my mother's friends. I think this is great. I also think that it's great for Serena. You know, Al gave Ruby all her flowers, and we got to give Serena hers. You know, we probably will not see another tennis star as great as Serena Williams in our lifetime. Like, the planet will probably collapse before we see another Serena Williams. And so I think that, you know, this is great. I'm very fascinated, though, on the selection criteria this year. And coupled with the juxtaposition between these two people, you know, so like, how did y'all choose these two people this particular year? Of course, I see Serena, you know, her accolades are so visible, but I'm just curious to know what made them choose Ruby this year. And then Al, are the only 2 people being inducted this year, or of all the people being inducted, these are just the only 2 Black people being inducted this year?
I don't know. That would be a good question. Let's see who's working with us today on production. Is that Justin or Brooke?
I will say this while they check that out. Back when I lived in LA, I remember me and Jamie and like Fox and a bunch of us all went to one of her matches, one of Serena's matches, and it was in LA at the Staples Center. Well, now Staples Center, I believe it was the Staples Center or the Forum, one of them. And it was just so dope to see her, right? And her being alongside Ruby makes sense to me because I remember she's from LA. She's the hometown girl. And even in that crowd, hearing racist white people calling her names while she was playing, trying to focus. And I was like, still, this is our, and I think she's playing against someone foreign. And that's how deep racism goes, where you would rather root for the outside team, outside country than a Black girl from your country. And to see like how far she's come since then, you know, she's, it's pretty amazing. They're both groundbreaking to me in that regard, is when it comes to racism and how they suffered for the ones that came after them to have it a little easier, you know?